memorized, so I don't feel really lost. Oh, which way? Oh. Ooh, that's strong. I'm drinking right now Old Elk whiskey. It's an expensive whiskey, bourbon, and usually I don't go. I mean, I'll usually go for like a $20 or $30 bottle of old bourbon whiskey, but at our store we had a quick sale a while back, and on Earth. There we go. I don't think I've ever seen them do that attack before. I think you have to really make them low on health to do that. That was interesting. Okay. But I was saying, at my liquor store, we had a 50% clearance sale. A lot of items we were getting rid of because we just didn't sell enough of them. So one of them was Old Elk bourbon. And I had bought myself a bottle of it. It's actually not bad. It's really good. I just don't think it's really worth the price. You know, I've had at least as good bourbons. Oh, internet connection quality is currently not sufficient to broadcast gameplay. Thanks. Cool. Okay. Is it still playing? Is it streaming? Let's see. I mean, it says I'm still live. I wonder how bad quality it is. Alright, I'm still live, apparently. I wonder why it's so slow. Can't be the weather. I mean, the weather's not bad. Yeah, I don't know why the internet quality is sort of being finicky right now. But if it cuts out again, I think well, that doesn't seem right. I mean, it's worked. The streaming has worked pretty well in the past. I haven't had this problem before, so I don't know why the streaming is not working that well. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Oh no. And, this is why. I don't know why I torture myself this way. I come back home from a long day of work, and here I am, torturing myself with this. I mean, I love this game, but I shouldn't have died there. Let me put it that way. I should have done better. Where are you doing? Oh, there there's a bug dude. Ooh. Let's see if I can get my blood echoes back. I really don't want to, There we go. Come on, big boy. I don't know why I took off my glasses like that. Thought it'd be kind of cool. Let me just have a power drink. Nope. I was doing so well too, until up to that point. It's like, oh, I got good. Oh, that weapon does barely anything on it. Note to self. The cane whip is very weak. See if I can get at least these blood echoes back. Well, yeah. So, yeah. Like I was saying. Oh, not this again. I don't know if you can't see my cat until I move my head, but he's taking a nap. I don't even really want to talk that much today in my streaming. But, oh! Did not mean. I really wanted to get that too. Okay, let's see if I can kill that in a second, dude. I wasn't gonna play around with that guy. I was kind of afraid that this tight area was gonna be the death of me, as it were. It's always the tight, like, claustrophobic areas that really get you in this game. Why did I just do that? Oops, stop it. Oh my god. Oh, come on. I just wanted that. I'm such a completionist with this game. I always want to try to find all the sort of secret items. So yeah, I mean, I had a sort of frustrating day at work. I mean, it got better once I left, but, you know, sometimes the weekends can be a rough sort of shift, especially for a liquor store. Oh, hey, bud. Oh, no. Why? Why did I let that happen? I don't know. Actually, I think I can see him in the webcam doing that. You see that? He's trying to open my closet. What are you doing, bud? Hey, how's it going? I did, I think, promise to mention some philosophy in this, and I don't know if my YouTube channel has this name or not. I actually forget what my YouTube channel is called, but a lot of my channels, I think it's like, I think it's my Instagram channel, or, not my Instagram channel, but my Instagram page that has philosophy theory in the name of it. But like, I get this question sometimes by like my one coworker, and so one of my account names is Pan-Experientialism, which is sort of a mouthful. It's a sort of, it's similar if you know what panpsychism too. They're both sort of mouthfuls, but they're along the same theory. They have some differences. I tend to think panpsychism is, more conservative or stronger, theory, and then, or like strong conservative in the sense that. I like to sometimes use the word like conservative or hard. Like, for example, like a hard dualist. Somebody who really believes in like a sort of conservative dualism, unlike, let's say, what I would say a liberal dualism. For example, the best example I'll give is materialism. So there's the metaphysical theory, materialism, or, study. And so if you're a materialist, you believe what is real, or what is reality, is what is material, what is physical. So, for example, this couch that I'm sitting on is real because it's made of a physical substance, which is atoms. Of course, the conservative materialists are going to be, hard, stern about their beliefs. So when they say what is real is only what is physical, what is material, then they sort of either say certain things are real. Like, for example, some conservative materialists might believe that, consciousness is not real. So they might say consciousness is an illusion created by the chemicals going around in our brain. And they might argue that free will is not real or an illusion. They might even say, some even strong materialists might say math or other abstract things aren't real, like love or whatever else. So that would be a conservative materialist. A liberal materialist might be one that believes in consciousness, but believes that it is dependent on the material reality. Meaning that it is, fabricated or created or, brought about by the physical world. Of course, I think sometimes there's issues that arise where it becomes a soft materialist or, you know, a liberal materialist, because then you have like, well, this seems to contradict what you mean by, you know, believing that it's... But anyway, so I tend to think that panpsychism and pan-experientialism are the same way. They're the same sort of theory, just pan-experientialism is almost more like the liberal theory, while panpsychism, they're a little more conservative. They have a stronger view, a stronger opinion. And not to say it's bad, you know, I'm not dissing anybody who believes in a strong stance on materialism or, you know, panpsychism, but, you know, just bringing it up for conversation's sake, I guess. But pan-experientialism is a theory that I usually sort of side with. I mean, you don't have to agree with it. I mean, I might debate you, I might give you my arguments, and I might listen to you. Like, for example, you know, but anyway. Pan-experientialism, if you could gather from its name, literally means all experience. So, what this really means, in a nutshell, is that the atoms, the particles, and so forth aren't exactly dead things, which we tend to think of, but maybe they're more like a primeval, primitive sort of life form. Like a single cell organism is like a primitive organism for us. You know, we usually see single cell organisms as the lowest of the lowest sort of, you know, living creatures. But what if atoms aren't just dead things? And the reason why we tend to think atoms and particles are dead things is because of a really old assumption that started from ancient Greece. If you read Democritus, the pre-Socratic philosopher, you know, this is where we really get our bias from often, you know. And so I tend to think, hey, well, you know, what if, you know, atoms really aren't as, you know, dead as we think? What if there is some sort of primitive existence within our experience? Now, panpsychists think they're actually conscious existing beings, but a very primitive conscious existing beings. Just how we think, like, let's say, fish are living organisms, they have a brain and so forth, but we don't think fish are having philosophical discussions. I mean, they might, but, you know, we assume that they don't. And, you know, same thing with cats and dogs. And then it goes even further with single-cell organisms. We know they're living. We know they're a living organ, not really having philosophical debates or thought. They're not consciously aware. You know, they're not Homo sapien, as it were. You know, human of thought. And so, panpsychists tend to think that there is some sort of primitive consciousness. I tend to not. I think consciousness is a really strong word. You know, and it's hard. Just like, you know, you can't make the assumption that, you know, atoms are dead things is same thing as you can't make the assumption that atoms are conscious beings. You know, I mean, it goes both ways, you know, in my opinion. So, going so far to say, yeah, atoms are conscious might be a little too much. So pan-experientialism just sticks with a more liberal stance, saying, well, they might be just living organisms with a sort of experience, you know. Oop. Oh. Farming some blood echoes. But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing. But to get back to the whole concept, like how I like to use the term conservative and liberal with philosophy, or hard or soft, you know, things. You know, it's. Ooh. I like to use that a lot, and the reason why is because theories, you know, philosophical theories are like a spectrum. You might have one philosopher who, as I mentioned before, who's a materialist, but they still believe in consciousness, or they still believe in free will, but they think it's, you know, abstracted from the physical realm. And so, you know, a lot of philosophical theories are kind of like that in nature. You just have, you know, the spectrum. I'm actually going to give my cat a little scoop, a little snack, because he seems a little angsty. Here you go, buddy. The couch. So yeah, I mean, that's just a quick philosophical discussion, I guess. Should start a philosophy 101 class with this video game streaming. Be good practice for my future endeavors. Yeah, so I'm currently finishing my undergrad for philosophy. I'm majoring in philosophy, minoring in physics, and and so I definitely want to teach someday. And the thing about teaching philosophy, and this is why I try to, you know, some of my favorite philosophers are argue for things I completely disagree. You know, so like for example, I'm not a Christian myself. I'll put that in the open. But some of my favorite philosophers are Christian. Like for example, Immanuel Kant. One of my favorite philosophers. Or like for example. Like currently I'm reading a lot of Karl Marx right now. While I might not agree with everything Karl Marx says, I do enjoy reading, and that's one of the things you have to do as teachers. You have to, be as unbiased as possible. To be, impartial, with philosophers. Because there's been philosophers that who agree with the same theory that I like, but I've criticized for either certain thoughts or issues. You just have to, ooh, cool, new outfit. You just have to, when you teach, be impartial. Try to be as open and critical when reading, other philosophers and their thoughts. You really can't have a bias to even your favorite philosopher. I remember when I first started reading philosophy, I was a big Nietzsche fan, as every young, angsty, I think, teen is. And so I was extremely biased to him. I thought, oh man, everything Nietzsche says is right, yada yada yada. But as I grew older, I became a little more critical of his views and his philosophy, and I read other philosophers and found that I enjoyed the thought or theories of other philosophers. So I've grown to not really have what I used to have, that one favorite philosopher. I just have a group of philosophers I've read and I just really enjoy. I had this one class. It was a seminar class on Susan Stebbing, and the professor was extremely biased to Susan Stebbing. So if you criticized Susan Stebbing's philosophy in any degree, she would just get mad. She'd get angry. She was a sweetheart teacher, but man, when you criticized her favorite philosopher, she screamed. And it was just so, I don't want to say sad, but it is to some degree, because you don't want to be that biased with a philosopher or a philosophy, because, your heart will be broken, you get so attached to a philosopher, and then, you find out, oh, their theory has
I must have drifted off. What is it you desire?
Weakness to it, a crack in their system, a crack in their foundation.
Very well, let me stand close.
I almost feel like I have to, I've played this game live before. The first time I played through, I played live, or online, I mean, and I really don't want to beat this boss using online help. I love this outfit, by the way. Did I not get a Canehurst hat? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Oh, that's so cute. I have to wear it now. I mean, let's see. There we go. It's so adorable. Look at that. But, yeah, I mean, with philosophy, it was a very sad lecture. I mean, even though I disagreed with a lot of Susan Stebbings' metaphysical views. Not per se her metaphysical views, but her arguments. Like, had some really, I would say, bad arguments. Her views were fine per se. I mean, like, her theory was fine. Her I'm actually trying to remember a name she called it. Like, my whole brain is, because I'm taking a class on Karl Marx, my whole brain is just on that language, that, you know, terminology. So I forgot all of her analytical terminology that she uses. She is, I think, a sort of underrated analytical philosopher, and she is a female philosopher, and so, which, you know, female philosophers and women philosophers are so underrated, and so I would definitely give her a read if you have a chance. She wrote a okay book. It's definitely for a broad public, but it was called Thinking to Some Purpose, and if you ever get a chance to grab a copy, I would. It's quite enjoyable. We'll go here, I guess. I think. Yeah, okay, so this is red spot. Okay. You can just jump down here. I feel like there's probably a way glitch out of the game if you just jump from there. But anyways, let's see. What is down here? I don't play this level that much. I'm, even when I'm, oh, when I had, originally, you know, when I originally beat Bloodborne, there were certain levels I just did not like. This was one of them. I don't like this level. It's a pain. It's really difficult. Because the monsters keep spawning and so forth, and it's just, you know, it's awful. I don't know if there's anything else to be said besides it's being awful. I think there is a sort of a cheat where you can cut through here somewhere. I've seen some speed runs of Bloodborne where they've done some odd things where they've cut through here somehow. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Sure, why not? Oh. Well, who's shooting at me now? Oh. Alright, so the real key to this, it's not even fighting